Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's been a few weeks, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I apologise for that. I've been rather preoccupied with work at the moment. It's keeping me busy a lot of the time, so I'm not getting many opportunities to get out. But today I'm actually in North Lincolnshire. I've come to visit a relative of mine. It's actually my stepfather, and we're in a place called Osgobby, which is very close to Market Raisin. And I'm standing in this little arch, which is made out of hedge, because it's quite windy today. The subject of today's video actually is some poppies, and these are rather unusual poppies because I was out on a drive earlier and I took a few shots, and I'll put one up now, but I took a few shots of a poppy field we found right in the middle of the countryside. But the unusual part is these are genuine Afghani sort of opium plants, and apparently they can be grown in England legitimately. And there was an article in one of the main newspapers about this a week or so back, which Sarah found when I noticed them. What took my eye was I was driving alongside of the road, or at least on the road, and I noticed these fields of white, I didn't know what they were, white flowers spreading in quite a few different directions in the wolds, which are a relatively sort of hilly area of Lincolnshire, North Lincolnshire. And I thought, what's that? And I stopped and I noticed red poppies at the side of the field. So I got out thinking, I'll take some pictures of those red poppies. There were a few. I didn't know what the crop was, but when I got to the field, I found this phenomenal number of these incredibly large sort of opium poppies, basically, and that's the reason for the coloured flowers. They were sort of white with a flecky purpley colouring to them. So I did take a couple of pictures, but as I've mentioned already, the wind here today is quite a lot, and so I'm actually going to go out again later, probably near a sunset, because where these fields are, I think, will lend themselves very well to a sort of a, if the weather holds off long enough, we might get a nice sunset, and if we don't, I'll still use the light to my advantage. So join me a bit later when I get over there and see if we can do some proper photography. Okay, well, the clouds come over again, which has made the lighting a bit more predictable. Unfortunately, the wind shows absolutely no sign of abating. I was rather hoping towards sort of sunset it would actually start to, but I don't think it's likely to happen today. So I've got one shot set up here, which I think looks really quite nice, and I've got the remote connected to my iPhone. So let me show you what it is I'm looking at. So you can see in the distance there's the camera. We might be able to set up on the tripod. There we are, and in front of it and quite close to it are a couple of poppies sticking up, and what I'm hoping to do, if I show you on the actual iPhone, if you can see it, is I'm trying to frame those two poppies against that tree on the hedge line on the in the distance. But as you can probably see from the image, what I've got is the focus set on the two poppies in the foreground, and I've got 200th of a second at 7.1 f7.1 configured here, which is giving me enough fast shutter speed to slow these down. You can see how much they're moving around in the wind. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the opportune moment to take that shot. So I'm just going to put the phone down, go over to the camera, because I can use the phone to trigger it, but I would rather actually watch the poppies in front of me and judge the moment that they're going to be moving, not enough to really cause the camera too much of a problem. So a little lull in the wind, and that might be now. So let's take, oh no, the wind started again. That's always the problem. As you can see on the back of the camera, they're moving up nearly still. Take that shot, take it again, and see with a quick chimp if that's worked. And that looks sharp enough for me. And that shot is deliberately set up with the background out of focus, because I'm emphasizing the poppies in the foreground, those two poppies in isolation to the rest of this field, because it's very easy to have too much in the image and the image loses its impact. And I think that simple foreground of those two poppies sticking up, and then the distant background of the out of focus, which I can show you here, that little slope down the hill with the hedge line, and then that little tree sticking up, and then the clouds on the horizon in the distance, I think makes for a nice backdrop. Even though it's out of focus, it's the main image is the two poppy heads in the foreground. So that one's in the bag. The lighting's playing havoc with the situation here. The sun is probably about 10 minutes from disappearing over the horizon. I don't think it's very likely to light the sky up in a favourable way, but I'm going to hang around and see, because this is something you don't see very often, and I'm going to make the most of it while I'm here. So catch up with me in a minute and let's see how the lighting progresses or not. What I should have been saying there is I've actually switched the lenses to the 28-200 Tamron lens, and on that I've got it set to about 70mm, which is framing that tree and these foreground poppies nicely. And I've got f8 set because the poppies are quite close to the front of the camera, so I'm expecting pretty much everything else to be out of focus. There's no point trying to get both in focus, and with an image that's got so much movement in it, I can't focus stack it. It would just look nonsense. It'd be impossible to do that. So the light's getting lower and lower, and there might be some more opportunities, and I can just see something rather nice in front of me, so bear with me, I'll take another shot. Well, I couldn't actually vlog that because the light just changed so quickly that it just lit up, and it's doing it again now, although it stopped. It just lit up the tops of some poppies just in the foreground here, with some shadows in the background, and these couple of tall ones in the foreground here made a nice shot against the tree, so I had to take that, and I'll put it up in a moment. I couldn't talk you through it because it was just one of those times that you just have to take the picture rather than talking to the camera. So I'm going to take some more shots while the lighting is holding out. This low sun is looking good, so I'm going to make the most of it. Bear with me.